From cosmic discovery to community connection, a man is bringing a local perspective to one of the world's premier observatories. Here's Yunji Denise with a preview of the upcoming episode of A Leader's Journey.
On the next episode of A Leader's Journey, we meet Rich Matsuda. As director of the Keck Observatory, he's bridging the gap between science, culture, and community. Here's a preview of our conversation. You are the first Hawaii-born director of Keck, and I wonder what that means for you and what the significance is of that, do you think?
I think in one sense it doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. There's a job to do, running the observatory, operating it to its best capability. In another sense, though, given where we are with Mauna Kea and we're trying to find a path forward where astronomy is part of the Mauna, but in a more balanced way. I think from that standpoint, it's really important. I think having local leadership who has a really strong sense of community values at this time is really important.
Without delving too deeply into politics, we do know that the administration, the current administration in Washington has different priorities than the last one, and that has had a big impact on science across the board. I'm wondering how you're navigating this moment in science and science funding and the conversations that are happening.
It's a really tough situation. It's a situation that I wish we weren't in, I think, and it's affecting so many aspects of science, so beyond astronomy. So this is an issue for science writ large in terms of federal support and leadership. The metaphor that I've been using is if we're sailing on a boat and we see a storm on the horizon and that storm is coming towards us and the boat is engaging the storm, you got to handle the storm, but you also got to think about where you're headed on the other side of that. One of the leadership mindsets I do is to mentally go to that other side and look back to today and say, what would I tell those people? What would I tell that community? Definitely stick together. Don't start fighting and tearing each other apart. Be sure of what your priorities are, what's most important, focus on that.
It does feel like we are at such an inflection point when it comes to science that, you know, even before COVID, the conversations around science and facts and data were very different than fast forward to now, where science itself and the value of science is being questioned. And as someone who has spent his entire career in that field, what is that like for you?
It's just really, really disappointing. And at the same time, we cannot let that define us. The tendency might be, you know, take shelter and clamp down. No, we've got to have strong, positive vision. How do we do this, and how do we do it in even a better way? In Hawaii, we have such the opportunity for this. The conflict around Mauna Kea has taught us so much. If we just hunker down and care only about ourselves because times are hard, then we're destined to have a bad outcome.
Rich Matsuda shows us how leadership can be thoughtful, steady, and deeply connected to Hawaii. Watch the full episode on air and online at hawaiinewsnow.com.